I was with Floyd Mayweather. When I met him, I couldn't believe it. Floyd was like, hey, what's up, man? This my fiance, this my girl. They was both standing right there. That's what paper do, boy. You got that paper, people fall in line.
I don't care if it's...
Now, it's a shame that people fall in line because of the paper. And you trust me. I don't give a fuck what you do for a bitch. It ain't enough. Trust me, my nigga. Every once in a while, you meet an exceptional bitch. Remember, like in the movies, Django? Yeah. The exceptional nigga. Right. Every once in a while, you might meet an exceptional woman who actually is happy that you are her friend and that you give her love, affection, and anything else. Right. That's rare. I had a bitch, I did everything for this bitch one day. Then when it was time to go, the bitch was like, you coming over? I'm like, I got shit to do tonight.
I want you to take a look at these photos right here. A good look. In fact, let me show you what I put in the caption, right? In the thumbnail for today's show. I want you to see this. I want you to see these people. These are the people calling you incels. These are the people calling you incels. And lonely and losers and all that, right? This is why I also tell dudes, I say, most of you guys, even at your worst, you're still doing better than most. I'm not saying me, I'm talking about you guys in general. Right? And also, let's debunk this. Also debunks the myth when I keep trying to tell you, you know, there's this thing where people say you got to get a 6. You can't get an 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 because they're just going to do you foul. You got to get you a 6 out of 10. I'm like, no. The mids are the ones, right? The 4s, the 3s, the 2s. They're disillusioned because the problem is the Chads and the so-called Chads and the so-called Tyrones, or these people, they will still smash something like this, but they will ghost them. And they harbor a serious resentment because what men are told to do is to aim for women that look like this. So what ends up happening is, believe it or not, you'll have women that look like this get more approaches than a woman that's like an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10, right? Because they what they tell dudes, you got to start off with somebody like this, right? But that has massively backfired because she thinks because she's getting all this attention that should lead to something, and it's gotten her nothing. So now women like this will go on the T app and think somebody's doing her wrong, to put somebody on blast for ghosting her. Same here with her. Oh man. So I'm Ray says I wouldn't even smash if I was Chad. I don't. Here's the thing, you know, people keep talking about the Chads and the Tyrones. What people don't understand is, yes, they still smash women that look like this, and I don't know why people don't know this. Well, they don't brag about it, or I think what happens, people will see a guy like a 6'8" the Great, right? These people. And let me not use him, because when I used him as an example, I got a warning on my channel. So let me not. Almost got a second strike on my channel for just mentioning 6'8" the Great. So just you'll see a guy adjacent to him, right? and you see the women approaching him, right? So what you see on video, they're just going to show all the girls that are glammed up, all the pretty ones that approached him. But what you don't understand is with those guys, most of the women that are actually shooting their shot at those guys are women that look like what I just showed you. Believe it or not. These are the women that will they'll shoot their shot and make a TikTok the next day talking about I shot my shot and it didn't work. Okay. So people just look at the Chads and Tyrones and they just think, oh, it's just only the pretty girls that are approaching them. A lot of the times the pretty girls are still not approaching. It's women that are around this range that are approaching the Chads and the Tyrones. So we kind of look over the fat girls that try to approach these guys, or the women that look like this approaching them. So for the most part, those are the women that are approaching the Chads and the Tyrones. I remember somebody showed a list of they showed the pictures of the dudes that was on the T app, right? They showed a picture of the dudes that was on the T app that were getting quote unquote exposed on the T app compared to the girls that signed up and complained. And the contrast was crazy because you had like these dudes on, none of them look like creeps, none of them look like weirdos. They actually all look clean. No Diddy, right? They didn't look like some weirdos or some bums or anything, really. They show like a picture and then compare and contrast to the girls that was complaining, and they were literally all fat and ugly. No cap. No cap. All of them fat and ugly. And then you looked at the driver's licenses: 5'2", 200 pounds, 5'3", 190. Like you just 5'1", 260. You were seeing some crazy metrics, right? And for the most part, this is what I've been saying on this channel. These are the women that are complaining the most and have the most to say. And these are the ones that actually have the highest of the body counts. I kept trying to tell you guys where you have that, like I'm talking about, you have fat three women that you might not think nothing of her, but she has a ridiculously high body count. I've shown you videos of, or you've seen videos of girls where they'll say, "Oh, I keep tally of the bodies that I get." And what you've noticed, the girls that really keep, tally marks of their high body count are women that are like fives, like at most six, at most six, but they're five. They're 5 out of 10s, 4 out of 10s, 3 out of 10s, and those are the women that end up having the highest of body counts because they're low hanging fruit. And yes, Chads will smash them. Tyrones will smash them. Dudes with money, unfortunately, will smash them. Look at the girls that was trying to accuse Trevor Bauer of something. Those these are some of the most mid chicks you'll ever see in your life. I'm talking about of all races. So this is what the market is. This is what the market is. Oh man. And I'll say this, she probably doesn't look like this on her dating profile. So I know she looks crazy here with the verification pics. Because when these verification pics went viral, everybody was like, "Oh my God, what are those people? What are those things?" But I'm pretty sure on her Tinder profile, she looks completely different, right? On her Instagram profile, she looks completely different. When you on Instagram, Tinder, and all these things, you have filters that give you a completely different face, right? So, but I was laughing at how shocked people were. They're like, "Man, these chicks is beat." I was like, I keep trying to tell y'all, the ones with the highest body counts, the ones that are getting played the most, are that right? It's I always say it's the woman that you don't think, because you think, oh, she looks innocent, or she doesn't look like she's not that pretty, so she can't be that active, which is a huge mistake that I see a lot of men make today. I don't know if I can zoom in on some of these, because I remember I saw a sample. I saw a sample. See, open image, new tab. So we got a close up of most of these, right? And it's like when I saw the chicks with the verification pics, I was like, "Yep, this is exactly what I thought." This is exactly what I thought. Shout out to Garrett Grant. He said, "Didn't expect an eye workout today." I'm Ray says, "Bro, she looks like those bugs from Disney." Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. The bitch with the glasses. If I can bring her back up, let me bring her back up. Let me bring her back up. Right? But let's analyze this right here. See these chicks. A lot of these, believe it or not, these are girls in their 20s. I know you guys might not believe it. You think a lot of these girls are in their 30s. No, these are girls in their 20s, right? And I don't care how fat or how ugly you think they getting smashed. And I don't care if the dude is a 10 or a 9 out of 10. He is still smashing women like this. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So we will definitely get more into depth on that. We'll definitely get more into depth on that. But this is all the stuff that I've been warning you on this channel. Even because I always say this, because I've never agreed with that logic of, oh man, you got to start off, you know, at the bottom. It's I don't agree with that, because I believe if the woman is not approaching you, period. I'm talking about whether she's a 9 out of 10 or a 3 out of 10. If she's not approaching you, you should not be forcing yourself to do an approach or to quote unquote practice, right? I don't believe in that. Now, if she approaches you, that's something different. Why you need to practice on the on the women that are giving you a shot, so you can be able to experiment, meaning you get to see how far you can go, what you can't say, what you cannot say, and you'll be able to have more leeway if you're actually with a girl that likes you more, right? But that whole thing of just approaching whatever, nah, I don't agree with that, because it leads to a market like this. People are like, what? These chicks? Yes. Mind you, this might be the most decent chick out of all of them. This one right here. That might be the prettiest one out of all of them, but everybody else, shot. Shot, you know. Or how about this here? Remember that video where it was a black girl and she was crying about getting ghosted by Chad, by fraternity Chad. And I don't, and people were shocked. They're like, wait, she actually was sleeping with one of these Chads? I'm like, yeah. I don't care how low you think she is. Or if you when they say, like, white dudes ain't looking for black women, but they still smash them. Now they don't want them, they might not want to claim him, but they uh, that doesn't stop anything. And she was, yeah, it was like a black woman, she was crying because She smashed this dude and kept smashing him, even though he kept not wanting to be seen with her in public. And she was sitting there crying on TikTok about it. I didn't really want to cover that because I wasn't interested, but I did find it a little bit amusing. The response where people were shocked about this dynamic. It's very clear what this dynamic is, and this is what the T app is exposing. You have most of the women sharing a small percentage of the men, and women are using the T app as a revenge tool because they're mad that they didn't get chose. Now, if you tell them in real life that they didn't get chose, they will act they're gonna act like, oh, I don't want to be chose. They want to be chose. The T app proves it. Anywho, this is, a massive debt, and it wasn't a hack. It wasn't. Nobody got hacked. Nobody got hacked. That's cap. Uh-oh. Apparently there is an active shooter somewhere in Michigan, and it's a ninja. Oh man. Apparently that's the news right now, but we can skip over that. I usually don't even cover these those at the active shooting on this channel. There's just too many. There's just too many. Anyways, I want to show y'all something real quick though. This is funny. I want this is gonna be a good laugh. This is gonna be a good laugh. I want to show this Joy Taylor clip, this new Joy Taylor clip from Vane Lathan. So I don't know. Maybe I think she did another episode with Vane Lathan. I don't know if it's the same episode that she did, but Joy Taylor is gonna get asked on what do you feel about the trials and tribulations that you're going through right now, and what do you have to say about being fired or being let go from FS1 and all this stuff. And you're just gonna see Joy Taylor just basically stand 10 tones down. Like I don't even know what to say. I don't know whether to be impressed or scared, or it's like, for me, I'm impressed. I'm not even gonna because I be telling dudes, stand 10 toes down, stop bowing down, and blah blah blah. Nah, man, Chris, I gotta do the right thing and all this stuff. Joy Taylor has been. I'm talking about. It's basically out there. She's a horrible person, but she's still standing 10 toes down on her debauchery. You got to see it. Shout out to Garrett Gray. He says they want to be chose, but instead they're just 304s. They can't because when they're with a guy that's way above their value, they think that's what they're entitled to, and they just still can't get over what their level really is. If you show the average girl their looks match, they would be appalled. they would be appalled. But anyways, let's go into this clip. This is hilarious to me. Joy Taylor is still standing 10 toes down.
And I think when you're ready, and it sounds like you will, when you're ready to say something, you will. I think it's also just about everybody speaking for you rather than you taking control of your own narrative. So I guess I see it in that way
well,
too.
like I said, I mean, there's a lot of things that aren't final yet.
Yeah.
Like there's it's an ongoing legal situation. This all just happens. Like I think a lot of times in the business, and I don't judge because look, it's an experience, right? And you get attached to things. You get attached to your routine. You get attached to the people you work with. You get attached to your platform.
Yeah. Get to it. Get to it.
In a lot of ways, these shows become our like babies in a way. Like we put so much creative energy,
you around your family.
Right? And it really becomes like, I mean, we spend so much time at work. So
I want to see if I can fast forward to the part where she starts basically threatening people. That's the part what I want to get to.
Talk. In fact, can do you much more in the long term to not talk. Let other people talk for you. Very serious. It's not always wise to talk. In fact, people to see in me is that I am a fucking gangster.
Oh yeah, that's the part I want to get to. So right here, this is crazy stuff. She's standing 10 toes down. I want y'all to pay attention to this part right here.
Deeply about how things are handled. And so I get it. But one thing I do want people to see in me is that I am a fucking gangster. And I really wish people would stop fucking forgetting that. I'm very serious. It's not always why.
Oh, we know you a gangster, Joy. There's no doubt in my mind. You are a gangster. Oh yeah, I'll give you your propers on that. we saw what was in that lawsuit. You a gangster. I know that. A lot of women out there are straight gangsters. Straight jacking people, straight extorting people in the public. Wow, people don't even call them out for the extortion. They just blame the man for getting extorted. Hey, man, this is the world we live in.
Eyes to talk. In fact, can do you much more in the long term to not talk. Let other people talk for you. Let other people make up their narratives. Let other people walk themselves out into the deep. Go ahead, baby, swim on out with that headline. Go ahead, babe, write that whole story. Because when you know what's coming, now you have to swim back and explain yourself. Now you have to talk about how this wasn't really you being biased. It was you were just doing your job.
Is that a threat, Joy? What you trying to threat? Yo, I'll say this. Could she still do a lawsuit off this? I don't know how it would be possible, though, because what was literally in the lawsuit, because in the lawsuit, the hairstylist made it very clear on what Joy Taylor said what she was going to do. So it would be, I don't know how it would be able to fly if she were to still go through with the lawsuit in terms of not necessarily suing Charlie Dixon this time, but just FS1 in general, Fox Sports. I don't know how that's going to work, but if she still pulls through with the lawsuit and it goes completely through, I mean, we're really going to have a serious talk on men in this country, or really the system in general. There's no way you could stand on this law system in America if she still is where it's still a threat, where she could still file a lawsuit, even though in the lawsuit against her, that's what it said in the lawsuit that she was going to do. So if a lawyer is still able to take the case, that just shows you that the system is on some like you can't stand on the system. You can't. There's it's impossible. If she still does a lawsuit, there's no way.
And to me, like the slow kill and the long play is way more satisfactory. I'm an extremely vengeful person. I think about it all the time.
Joy Taylor is a gangster, because for her to even have the balls to say what she's saying right now, she is a gangster. I'm not gonna lie. Nobody has had the balls to have her on the show. Every platform that she's been on, nobody has called her out for what she's being accused of. Meanwhile, if a man gets accused, he misses a parking ticket, he got to answer for it the next day. Allen Iverson misses practice, he got to answer for the next day. And a female hairstylist accuses her of some serious stuff, racism, harassment and standby harassment. What? It's literally everything that the media swear they care about, and not one platform that she's done an interview about has even had the balls to question it. Well, in the lawsuit, it said specifically this. Do you want to answer? You just bring up the question. Nobody's had the balls to bring up because they don't. I don't know what now. All of a sudden, people care about being sued and all this stuff, but money. I'm talking about Floyd Mayweather when he was going through what he was going through. The best boxer in the world. He goes on ESPN and he gets freaking grilled by Kerry Champion, and people just have no problem with this. It's the best. It's the best boxer in the world, but nobody cares about getting sued or losing their jobs. But now all of a sudden, oh, we can't talk about Joy Taylor. We can't quit because now people are afraid of. What are you afraid of? A lawsuit? That hasn't stopped these people in the past. What? I'm talking about it'll be the best athletes in the world. They'll go on certain platforms and they'll still get grilled. The best male athletes in the world. And nobody has the balls to be like, well, specifically in this lawsuit, it said this. Do you have anything to say about that? Nobody even has the balls to even dive into what was in the lawsuit, whatever platform she's been on. So you know what? Maybe I gotta give Joy Taylor her props and other women alike. Y'all are gangsters. I gotta give you your props. I gotta give y'all your props. Oh man. Anyways,
Many grudges. They're like my plants. Just give them a little water every day, a little food. Hey, remember that? Remember when that happened? Don't forget it. But reacting in the moment, it to me, like I see people do it when they're going through things, and I absolutely understand it. I absolutely understand it. I've wanted to crash out so many times.
On who?
Everyone, so many people.
No, not when I say on who, I don't need names. What
group?
No. Like, give me okay. So when I say this, I mean, so obviously there are people who wrote stories. Obviously there are people who covered
so he's gonna kind of hint at Jason Whitlock in a little bit.
it. What type of person are you looking to crash out on? People that were close to you that didn't support you, people that made fun of you, people that talked about your peanut butter skin. Like what? like what?
You love that. Admit that you love that band.
Shit is funny. I'm
Admit
sorry.
that you love that band.
And watch this. Hold on. I'm gonna keep it playing for a second. Watch the shots that she takes at Jason Whitlock next. This is wild work.
Because you know why I loved it? Because that's the most sincere I've ever seen him.
You know what's funny? It's like I've never watched a second of. I know it exists because of you, because you're an asshole, and like other people. And I've seen the comments and stuff, but I've never watched a second of anything that that he says. But I think it's so ironic that he would equate it to food. Like, don't you think that?
Love it. No, it's not. It's fitting. You're right.
Like on brand.
He's on brand.
If nothing else, he's going to be on brand.
But he was staring off. You could.
Joy Taylor with the fat shaming. You are Joy Taylor. You are a gangster. I'm not gonna hold you. You are a gangster. I even feel I might. You want if I had a hat right now, I'll tip my hat to you. I tip my hat to you. She's standing 10 toes down in her evil. I got to give her props.
Tell he had really thought about that.
Of course he had.
He was staring off.
He's
in
like,
the context of food.
What do I want for a snack?
He was like, but when you say people that you have,
where's the body positivity movement? Where they at? Where's the plus size models with the counterattack? Where they at? Oh man. Joy Taylor with the fat shaming. I wanted did Jason Whitlock catch that? Let me see if Jason Whitlock had a response to that. Oh, he did. But that's 12 minutes long. Whoa, I'm seeing some weird stuff about Joy Taylor right now. They say Joy Taylor breaks silence. I want to disappear. After talking all that good-ish? What? Nah, she can't be. Nah. If she did she really say that? Hold on. I'm seeing some quotes now. They're saying that Joy Taylor said, I want to disappear. Oh, don't. She's trying to. Joy Taylor news. She says she wants to retire. She's retiring. After talking all that ish, man. After me finally giving her props for being a gangster. She got no more cards to pull except I want to disappear. Because you know when people say, because it's not, how people do stuff like that. They'll say, "Oh, I want to disappear," or "I'm tired of living." They'll put stuff like that on Twitter or Instagram, and it's almost like it's another way for them to say "leave me alone." But then then all of us, but it's a they're trying to just kind of put it out there. Oh, if you guys don't leave me alone, I might off myself and all this nonsense. No. You gotta don't run away from America. Don't do that. Oh no. Say Joy Taylor publicly addresses being canned from Fox Sports. Joy Taylor is officially done. Joy Taylor hints at possible retirement after FS1. Let me see. How long is this article? He said, we need the OF arc. Oh, man. Let me see this. This is crazy. Talking all that good-ish. I want to disappear. These hoes is always threatening to subliminally subliminally delete themselves. Okay. I'm trying to look at this article. See, then came the post that changed everything. First, Joy Taylor's Bahamas workout. So yeah, we already know about that. Then came, they said it was a quiet defiance in the face of the storm. Then came the Barcelona balcony shot. Yeah, we know about that. Te Amo Barcelona. The 38-year-old Fox, just weeks after her sudden retirement, wasn't simply putting an ocean between herself and the scandal. She was actively rewriting her story in real time. The caption carried more weight when paired with her raw, recent podcast moment. The dream now is to just disappear. Oh. Here we go. I just want to disappear. Just wanted to all go away. Oh, man. She finna pull it. Hey, boy, let me tell you something, man. I don't take self-deletion threats as like have you ever seen like in Africa, or I think it was like a video in Uganda. It was a dude that was threatening to throw himself off the billboard, and instead of the Africans, like, instead of helping him out, they was making fun of him. They was telling him to jump. It was like, oh, go ahead. It was dudes. They created a fake grave site for the dude, with the cross and everything, and say, "Oh, since you finna jump, we got this thing laid out for you." That's low key my my opinion when it comes to self deletion. Because at the end of the day, I'm not saying I hold it against you if you self delete, but if you're gonna do it, just do it. This whole thing when you on the bridge and everybody got to stop for you, or you writing notes, people find a note, right? And then now you got to act like, oh, I didn't mean that, or you write something on social media and then people come into your aid, but you don't really you don't really mean that self deletion, or you attempt to self delete but it don't work out. I hate stuff like that. If you finna do it, just do it. if you finna do it, just go ahead and get it over with, man. Stop wasting everybody's time, because now everybody's got to tend to you. Everybody's got to focus on you while they're worried about you attempting to take yourself out. I mean, nobody got time for that, man. Ryan Davis, 5150. I'm finna show you a clip. Let me see if I can find that clip. Let me see if I can find that clip. Let me see if I can find that clip of Corey Holcomb talking about the Regina King's son situation.
That's a good one. Pam Grill.
Roger Clemens, they were jacket.
I'm gonna lie. This is self-degradation. This is
scandals.
She face went round when she
I thought UI bus just don't make the sound. Oh,
Nah,
it's usually pretty cool.
that bitch was out there on her. Bad bitch is different than the next.
I won't be able to find that clip, but I remember in that specific clip there was yeah, they was talking about self-deletion, and Corey Holcomb was very frank of what he thought about that whole nonsense. But anyways, the dream now is to just disappear. The puzzle pieces suddenly click into place. Her retirement announcement, the weary interviews where she described the ordeal as mourning, her vulnerable admission. I don't know if I'll get that back, but right now it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel exciting. The once fearless debater now appeared to be exiting stage left, exchanging heated sports argument for quiet European streets, joining Emmanuel Acho, Keyshawn Johnson, and other casualties of FS1's lineup purge. The building, the work of it all, it doesn't feel the same. She had confessed, her words now echoing through the empty studios of canceled shows. Her Instagram now suggested she was turning those words into reality, and somewhere between heartbreaking and healing, Joy stopped chasing the spotlight and started carving out her own. I bet you she's now, oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure the next post, I'm looking for a good man out. I'm looking for a good man. Anyways, we already know that playbook. Let me search up her Twitter real quick. Cause man, Joy Taylor was just, man, she talking all that grease, all that greasy ish. Now it looks like she finally bowing out. She finally thrown in the towel. That should show you everything you need to know. Everything in that lawsuit, everything that hairdresser said was facts. I told you this is the only lawsuit from abroad that I've believed so far, where I'm like, yeah, you know what? Everything that she's saying is facts. Joy Taylor bowing out. She bowing out. She said, I can't do this no more. Yep, apparently that's an official quote from her. The dream now is to just disappear. I don't want to be 70 with a mic. Taylor says she no longer enjoys it. Yep. Somebody says she has to act. She's mad. She actually has to work her way to the top instead of sleeping around. Yeah, usually when you cut that off, or if a woman can't use her sexuality to get what she wants, then all of a sudden, it's time for me to settle down. It's time for me to throw the towel in, and that's that's when they usually want to settle down. Now they're looking for somebody decent, or now they want to live a quiet life when they can't leverage their sexuality anymore. This is what they usually do. Oh, that is low key. She is low key throwing shots at Skip Bayless. I don't want to be 70 with the mic. She is throwing shots at Skip low key. Okay, let me be careful how I scroll because this is Twitter. This is still Twitter. Let me relax. Yep. Joy Taylor breaks silence on claim she's quitting sports media after Fox Sports firing. Yeah, Joy Taylor. What a piece of work. What a piece of work that is. That's a piece of work. After talking all that greasy, all that gangster, I am a gangster. That must have been from the same episode of earlier before. This must have been before she got fired, that specific episode that I just showed. But anyways, let me see if I can find this video. Oh, yeah, this one right here. This is what it is. Dating in New York City. So they're saying dating in New York City has gotten so bad that girls are stealing lunch orders from finance bros and stalking them on LinkedIn. Oh yeah, hoes will stalk you on LinkedIn. That doesn't even have to be just in New York City. Especially if she deems you as a quote unquote target, then she will do that. Now, the the women, the young women of today, they're the new predators. So you know how back in the day you had to worry about if you had a sister or a female relative, you had to worry about male predators stalking. Now it's the opposite. If you have a productive male in your family, right? Or if you have productive men in your family, you have to worry about predators, real female predators of all ages, where they're stalking you via social media, LinkedIn, doing things to try to get your attention. But it's like they'll say it out loud too. They'll say, "Oh no, I've been targeting this dude." So this is, yeah, we're in the age where the gender roles have completely flipped. Is women are the predators now. There's no doubt about it. So let's hear her out. The only difference is when the men were the predators, at by and large, they weren't going on videos and in YouTube and saying their game plan because they knew what they were doing was wrong. Somewhere down there, they knew what they were doing was against events. It was against what's conventional. But the hoes, they're just so outright with it, no tact. They're just outright just admitting that they're the creeps, they're the predators, they're the stalkers, because I want what I want, and what I want is the number one goal. So it doesn't matter what happens to everybody else, right? So let's hear her out. Let's hear her out. But yeah, I'll say this: the dating scene in New York City is wild. But it's not really the men's fault. It's the women they've created this dating scene.
The dating scene is getting so bad in New York City that I am seeing on TikTok there are girls going into Midtown during the week and stealing Finance Bros salads for lunch. And then looking their name up from the salad order on LinkedIn and then messaging them through there and being like, hey, oh my God, so sorry, I grabbed your salad. Like, let me just make it up to you and buy you a new one. And that's how they're like sliding it, which honestly, smart. Why are we stealing men's salads? Like, why can't they just come up to us at a bar? Like, why is it getting to this point? Men, just please step up or your salad's gonna fucking get taken. Your lunch is gonna get taken every week. Like, I'm seeing girls get so creative these days. Like, they're making bracelets with their phone numbers on them and giving them to you guys at the bars. They are taking pictures of you sneakily and then being like, hey, oh my God, making their phone screen and being like, hey, can you take a picture of me and my friends so you can see that your picture is their home screen? All just different ways to try to talk to you guys because you guys don't come up to us in New York City. And it's crazy. Like, I know there's so many beautiful women. Like, just go up to one of them. Buy them a drink. You guys have money. You live in the city. You can buy a drink. Stop being cheapos.
We often say that men are men always think they feel entitled to sex. They feel entitled to our bodies. And I'm like, no. First of all, I don't think that's ever been true. Even the predators, the way they even go about things shows you that even they don't feel entitled to a woman's body. Now, once we flip it, women feel completely entitled to a man's resources, money, attention, all that. Even I'll say even a man's body in a different way, obviously. But it's very clear. It's very clear. Women feel way more entitled to a man's resources, their money. They're way more entitled to it than the other way around. Than a man is than a man feeling entitled to a woman's body. It's clear. A woman feels more entitled. I'll say the average American woman feels way more entitled to a man's resources and income than a man feeling entitled to a woman's body. Especially in 2025, there's just no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. They feel way more entitled to relationship, income, attention, right? All of that. Way more entitled. Because watch this. We're going to replay this. I want you to hear all the nonsense. I want you to hear everything that she said again. Because this is wild. Everything that she just said was wild, but it's normalized. It's normalized. I'm going to replay this one more time. Let me put it on I might put it on 1.5 speed, a little bit faster than per usual.
The dating scene is getting so bad in New York City that I am seeing on TikTok there are girls going into Midtown during the week and stealing Finance Bros salads for lunch.
She said the hoes are stalking the Finance Bros, whatever companies they're working at, and following them on their lunch break. And if they're ordering anything, doesn't have to be just salads, or whether it be a coffee, whatever. Because a lot of the times when you order these things on your app, it still has your information, has your phone number and all this stuff. They're stealing their orders or stealing the receipts of their orders, looking them up via LinkedIn or whatever, getting their phone number and trying to finesse their way into their lives from there. Now, we've seen men get yelled at just for saying hi to a woman on the street. We've seen men get berated for just approaching. Now, imagine if a man is going through all that trouble, going through garbages. Hey, I saw you. Men are even afraid to just be like, hey, I saw you on so-and-so's IG story. I remember you. Men are afraid to even say that because they don't want to be labeled as a creep. If a man was in there going through rummaging through garbages or going through women's food orders, getting their phone numbers, getting their information, and messaging them from there, they would get the police called on them. Like I'm talking about immediately would get the police called on them. Even if he did have money, they would be like, "How did you even get my number?" They'll get the police called on them. But apparently, this is a normal strategy and something normal to hear from the average New York City girl when it comes to them trying to find the information on the guys that they want. Apparently, this is normal.
And then looking their name up from the salad order on LinkedIn and then messaging them through there and being like, hey, oh my God, so sorry, grab your salad. Like,
this is creepy behavior. They get their information from the receipt, look them up on LinkedIn. Oh, yeah, that's why. Oh, I remember I started a LinkedIn and then I deleted it. And then I started it again and then I deleted it again. If I'm going to do a LinkedIn, it's going to be strictly music. And I'm not going to put my real name on there. I'm going to put my stage name, what I use for my music. Because I know hoes are doing this. I know they're doing this. Because even if people are like, oh, you just want to hide if you're high, or you just want to hide because you're not making that much money. I'm like, bro, if you're making that much money, you still don't want to be on LinkedIn. You're attracting predators. You have it's actually worse for you if you are making some decent money, because now you're gonna have all these people in your inbox and they're just on straight predator mode. They just want your resources.
let me just make it up to you and buy you a new one. And that's how they're like sliding in, which honestly, smart. Why are we stealing men's salads? Like,
for her to even think that's smart and not the first thing in her mind, like for the first thing in her mind for her to say it's smart, but it's not, like instead of, wow, that's you doing too much, or wow, that's creepy, says a lot. It really says a lot about her. Forget the women that are just doing it. That says a lot about her. Because off rip, I trust me, there's dudes that I know, if there was a woman in their life and they found out that a woman was doing the exact same thing to a male friend or a male relative that they know and love, they'll be like, this bitch is a weirdo.
that's why can't they just come up to us at a bar? Like, why is it getting to this point? Men, just please step up, or your salad's gonna fucking get taken. Your lunch is gonna get taken every week. Like, I'm seeing girls get so creative these days. Like, they're making bracelets with their phone numbers on them. And
she's blaming the men for women being creeps. Women wouldn't have to do this and men would just step up and approach us. So you're going to just stalk them and steal their salad orders and stalk them via LinkedIn or social media, whatever avenue that you may have to look them up online. And she goes, this is, and honestly, I don't know why we even have to do this. This is on the men. The men are supposed to be approaching us. This is wild. Imagine, this is the stuff that they like, you see how like they portray incels on TV, right? Like they'll have the incels. This is what, like, I'll give you an example. I remember watching Evil, right, from CBS, and they had they were portraying the incel group as a group where you had guys was like, look, we are entitled to sex and we wouldn't even have to be talking about this stuff if they would just give us what we want. This is literally this is what they're doing. This is, now that was a TV show. This is real life, where now you have hoes being stalkers, and then instead of just owning up to being a stalker, they're blaming their new quote unquote dating strategy on men not approaching them. This is wild. This is wild. I wish I could show y'all that scene from CBS, from that movie, from that TV show. It's literally this, but in female form, what you're seeing. That's wild. You'll probably see that on the edit when I go back and edit these videos. I might show you that clip.
Giving them to you guys at the bars. They are taking pictures of you sneakily and then being like, hey, oh my God, making their phone screen and being like, hey, can you take a picture of me and my friends so you can see that your picture is their home screen? All just different ways to try to talk to you guys because you guys don't come up to us in New York City.
That's what. Hold on. Let's replay that one part. Let me slow that one down. My bad. That was a little bit too fast for me. But watch this again.
All just different ways to try to talk to you guys because you guys so you can see that your picture is their home screen. All just different ways to try to take pictures of you sneakily and then being like, hey, oh my God, making their phones so creative these days. Like they're making bracelets with their phone numbers on them and giving them to you guys at the bars. They are taking pictures of you sneakily and then being like, hey, oh my God, making their phone screen and being like, hey, can you take a picture of me and my friends so you can see that your picture is their home screen. All just different ways to try to talk to you guys because you.
Bruh, if men did any of these things, we would be arrested. Just straight up arrested. What? I saw something on Twitter today. They say like female Riz is just basically sexual harassment. it's not even close. Like you can't even argue this. Female Riz or just female Riz or female game per se is just sexual harassment. But they just get away with it.
You guys don't come up to us in New York City, and it's crazy. Like I know there's so many beautiful women. Like just go up to one of them, buy them a drink. You guys have money. You live in the city. You can buy a drink. Stop being cheapos.
Man. Let me search up something real quick. I'm about to show. I'm going to see if I can show you that scene. Incels evil CBS scene. Nah, it's a show called Evil that I really like, and they showed the incels. I wish I could show that scene. Do a search real quick. Evil CBS scene, Jake Perry. This is the show I'm talking about. CBS scene, Evil, Jake Perry. Perry, incel scene. Damn, they're probably not gonna show it. I'm gonna have to do a whole. I'm gonna have to do a whole dive into that because I thought that scene was hilarious. I'm like, I'm like, damn, they even portrayed the incels wrong. Most of the stuff about the incels, like when they on 4chan or on Twitter, etc., they're literally most of the time they're talking bad about themselves. They're literally destroying their own selves. Talking about how they weren't born with the genetic this and genetic that, and life sucks because I can't do this and blah, blah. But it's mostly self-loathing. Most of the stuff that I see on these on incel related spheres. But women are so self-centered, they don't even think that's what's happening. They just think they're just, you know. That's why, like, they were so shocked when they found out, oh, incels are the least violent group. Yeah. Or they found out that incels, like, it was like the dudes that actually have more sexual experience with women actually have a higher level of hatred for women than the incels. And they just couldn't fathom how that's even possible. And I'm like, bruh, if you're the incels, they don't know who you are as a woman. So the men that have more experience with women, they know who they are. And once you get to know a lot of women personally, they're not really you find out how very unlikable the stuff that they do, the mystery of them vanishes. So there's a level of not necessarily resentment, but there's a level of a dislike that tends to appear. That's why even when I know people are saying, "Oh, we need to just legalize prostitution, or just have these brothels," and I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't think that's the best idea, because if a young man's first experience with a woman is with a hooker, I just don't think that's the best idea. I think you're actually putting a lot of these hookers' lives in danger, or whatever. If a woman is deciding to be a prostitute temporarily, she's going to really be putting herself in danger, especially if she's dealing with a man, or particularly a young man that has no experience with women, because he's going to finally sleep with a woman, and he's going to realize how it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be too much for him to handle, in terms of the post nut clarity is going to be brutal for him. Brutal. So the guys that usually engage in that activity, when they're just straight up dealing with hookers, they really have no love for women at all. At all. That's why I don't think it's the best. I don't think that's supposed to be something just reserved for like older men. That's just my opinion when it comes to that. I don't think a man's first time should be with a prostitute. I don't think that's the best idea. That's just my opinion on that. But but you'll have like somebody like a Joy Taylor. She'll say that because she thinks that's going to, quote unquote, help that group of people. But I don't know about that. And then also, I already know that, when you talk about that specific group, they're just looking for love. They want to find love the old fashioned way. They don't want to pay for it. And then on top of that, especially if you're dealing with a Caucasian incel, he just wants a white girl for himself to love and to hold, because he could easily get an Asian bitch. He can get a Latina bitch. I'm talking about levels above his sexual market value. He can get one, but they just refuse. That's a whole let me stop talking about it before I get another strike on my channel, because I've gotten a strike on my channel for speaking on this. But anyways, let's go back to this girl. I got her TikTok opened up right here. This is her TikTok. So I guess she got viral off of this video.
Guys, the dating scene is getting so.
So let's see the comments. The desperation. Somebody said, "Be a man." Next, lunch is stolen while minding my own business. Be blamed and shamed for it because I'm not going up to girls at bars and clubs. And you wonder why we don't want to associate with you. Like, this is stealing people's lunches. And it's still the man's fault because he doesn't want to give you attention. That's wild. I don't even know how, like, if you're a normal thinking rational person, how do you even think this is okay? This is definitely not okay. What kind of nigga is gonna steal from somebody or stalk somebody and then blame you for it? You gonna say that ninja is mentally ill? Wow. But anyways, somebody said this is actually hauntingly weird. Every finance bro over age 25 is literally married to. I work with all of them. Somebody said half of TikTok is I hate when men approach me, and the other half is why don't men approach anymore? Somebody said hookers will do anything for that bag. Unfortunately, a lot of young women are getting their advice in terms of just dating advice from straight up hookers. They don't even realize it. Like a lot of this, even the stuff I've seen women do, like in my DMs personally, I'm like, this is something that a hooker would say. What? Why are you saying this? I remember there was this one girl recently. She was 19 or 20. I forgot. But anyways, we were talking for a little bit, and then all of a sudden she pulled that nonsense. Oh yeah, I'm starving. I'm doing this, and I need food. Basically, can you give me money? And I'm like, what the what? I'm like, who's telling you to do this? Like, this is not a viable strategy. This is something hoes do stuff like that. But a lot of their advice from dating is coming from hookers. I'm talking about hoes straight off the blade, right? Bitter single, they're bitter single mom, and the manless women in their family. That's where a lot of their advice is coming from. Is from women that like if you had a daughter, you would not want your daughter getting that kind of advice from them. So shout out to this right here, to this character. I don't know, his name is Ty. He goes, ladies, imagine a man stole your food, found your information, and messaged you via LinkedIn. That's borderline stalking. Y'all do everything except go up to the men you want. Men are not going to approach you anymore because a plethora of women screamed online to stop approaching them. Yes, I understand that not all women feel that way, but the message was regurgitated numerous times. Your turn to step up. Somebody said, hey, all of that sounds insane. She goes, I agree, but why did you make, bruh?
Guys, the dating scene.
This chick is wild. Talking about, I agree. Then why did you make this? You still put all the blame on men because they don't approach. What? Somebody said, how on earth do people hear women are stealing men's food to start a conversation and conclude that men are the ones who need to step up? He said, this has to be satire that just flew over my head, right? I'll say this because I am familiar with the New York City dating scene. Women are doing a lot of just weirdo things, just in general. You're just like, it'll baffle you. It'll baffle you. Because if a man were to do anything similar to that, then he's gonna get posted on the T app for being a creep and a weirdo and a stalker and all of that, right? Somebody said, how is this not considered stalking? Hey man, it is what it is. Somebody said, honestly, that's kind of sad. First of all, by the way, when it comes to dating, and I'm not saying I'm this expert at dating and all this stuff, but when you grow up in a normal environment, okay, this is what it's really supposed to be. You're not supposed to be traveling far and wide and all this stuff to find a spouse or a girlfriend. It's supposed to be through mutual friends, right? Or groups where that person is vetted out, you're vetted out, that friend group recommends you, the other friend group recommends him, you're both vetted. You don't have to OD worry about him being a creep or if he's trying to pump and dump you, because both sets of friend groups are putting their name on the line. So they're vetting you. They're vetting them, they're vetting you. All this stuff where you're just going through city via Tinder and Hinge, borough to borough, meeting up with strangers. That's not dating. Like, what the? I don't know where people think, that's dating. No, that's just you being a hoe. That's not dating. Just going from man to man, hoe to hoe, and hoping you find the right one. This is not Hallmark, where you just go to a city that you don't know, and then somebody out of nowhere, this rich billionaire or rich millionaire or rich 100,000aire, finds you out of the blue and then just willing to take care of you. That's not life. Most relationships technically are arranged when you really think about it. Technically, when you're looking at most of the healthier relationships are technically arranged, whereas basically the friend group knows you, you join the friend group. There's a man in that friend group who's looking for a girl. He finds you attractive or you find him attractive, and then you guys meet from there. Or if you know him from work, he knows you from work. You guys are in similar things, so you guys end up pairing together. Like, this is how it has usually worked throughout most of the time, but now we have this so-called, international dating market with hoes being flew out, right? Hoes going state to state, door to door, all this. This is not dating. Like, this is wild. But anyways, let's go to another video if we can find one. Let's go on Instagram. Let's see what we got on Instagram. See if we got anything saved to go and look over. Okay, let's go over this video. Let's go over this one. Oh, by the way, have you seen like this before I even go into this story? Have you ever seen like have you been seeing these videos where they're like the red pill is ruining relationships? Just, I was like, damn. I'm like, I've been trying to tell you. They've been, they're looking for a scapegoat to see what's wrong with the marketplace and all this stuff. They're Hose is not gonna take that out. They will do everything but take accountability on that. They're just gonna blame the red pill and talk about these red pill incels are ruining the dating market. Andrew Tate. as soon as I hear motherfuckers talking about how wrong the dating market is, and then they start talking about Andrew Tate, that's when I know that this is where you could just completely dismiss them. I'm like, no idea what you're talking about. That's the first person they always mention. Andrew Tate this, Andrew Tate that. The dating market is so bad and blah blah blah. And Andrew Tate, what the? I'm like, y'all niggas gonna blame Andrew Tate for everything? I'm like, wow. But like I said, people are very, they're very predictable. But it'd be funny though. It'd be funny because people did warn me about this, specifically when it came to Andrew Tate. Chronic in company and in family. I always say, yeah, Chronic and Friends. Chronic and Friends. They warned me about this, and I underestimated it. I was like, yeah, you know what, you're right. Because now anytime they bring up the red pill, they just start, all of a sudden Andrew Tate pops up. I'm like, what does Andrew Tate got to do with the red pill? I'm like, you know he called the red pill like a group of losers and all this stuff. You're like, you do know that, right? Now he's gotten famous off of the red pill, but hoes don't really have an outside way of thinking, or they don't really know how to think outside of the box. They think is like there's a leader of the red pill movement or something. I'm like, nigga, we don't got no leaders. Like, we don't have a leader. Forget, we don't even really have leaders per se. And then on top of that, most of the so-called the most popular of this space are not good leaders or good people in general. or people that are even willing to stand on the RP space. Most of the best of us have been demonetized or ran off this platform in one form or another. Yeah, they just think, yo, the leader of this space. What leader? We don't got no fucking leader. Anyways, let's hear this chick talk. And this should actually be quite concerning. We got this 28-year-old chick who still thinks she's a kid. But let's hear her talk.
I'm 28 years old. By all definitions, an adult woman. When I see adult women who are my age on television, I look at them and I say, yes, that is an adult woman. When I look at myself, I say, that's a child. The only time I ever feel like an adult woman is when I go and I get a full set, like I did today, which is what prompted this thought process. When do you start feeling like an actual grown-up? Is it ever going to happen? Or will I only ever view? Sometimes it's literally women who are younger than me. And I'm like, adult woman. And I look at myself and I think, absolutely not. What is that? I'm 28 years.
So let's do some research on her. Because I keep trying to tell people that it really doesn't matter how old the woman is. Mentally, they don't really mature past the age of 14. Right? This has been proven time and time again. She comes across as a school teacher or of some sort, or in one of these fields where she's a teacher. But you have a lot of hoes like this where even when they're in their late 20s, early 30s, they're still talking about, I'm a kid. I'm just a girl. You know, you've seen those memes, right? This is scary. And this is creepy. Because I always say this, flip the gender roles. If you had a man talking about, I'm 32, but I still feel like an 18-year-old, you would not let this man around kids. But there is a lot of women like this, specifically what I've seen on Instagram and TikTok. A lot of these women that think this way, they're teachers. And I'm like, this is a recipe for disaster. Like, this is a complete recipe for disaster. But you have women like this that work with young people or are in a job when they're working with younger people, and they have this kind of mentality. And I've always said, like, maybe this is not a person like this shouldn't be working with people of the public. Because, ma'am, at 28, you're not a kid. I'm I'm 27, and I still feel like a loser because I don't feel like I'm at where I'm supposed to be in life financially. Because I already know I'm way past I'm way past whatever, right? Because a man is judged differently. It's not for a man, we're judged in terms of income, not if we can take care of ourselves, but whether we can take care of somebody else with our income. So our financial goals, when it comes to a man or a woman, is different. So we already know at a young age we gotta eventually we gotta grow up. We know that eventually we gotta grow up and do some things, right? So even if a man is doing good per se, we're always gonna feel like as a man, we're always gonna feel like we're behind. We're always gonna feel like we're behind, right? But like I said, this is actually kind of weird for you to feel this way. Okay, so we have this woman here. She goes, I am, as a therapist, I've noticed this is just a human experience. Most people have this feeling. We never stop being the people we were as kids. We just grow in different ways, but I think we expect ourselves to be different people as adults. It's our concept of adulthood that's lacking maturity, not you. And I don't know, what's her name? Women in Comics. Yeah, we got to make sure nobody comes to you for therapy, ma'am. No disrespect. I ain't even trying to get in the way of your paper, ma'am, but we got to make sure nobody's coming to your office. Yep. Look, this is look at her profile. Look at her profile. George Floyd, justice for whatever. Um, Black Lives Matter. A lot of liberal stuff, transformer stuff. Transformer adjacent, rainbow flags, Deadpool. Oh Lord, I'm gonna get flagged for that. Anyways, yikes. Anywho, I'm gonna have to delete that once I do my edits. But yeah, these are the therapists giving advice. Somebody said we are millennials. No one will ever treat us like adults. No, if you're a millennial, like millennial, the millennial cutoff is like 1995. If you're born in 1995 or 1996, so no, like kid. First of all, technically, you when you enter high school, technically you stop being a kid. Then that's when once you enter a high school, that's when you become what they call a young adult. All that kid stuff basically stops in high school, but everybody wants to be a forever teenager. It seems like everybody wants to be a forever teenager. But anyways, let's go over the TAP breach. Gets TAP gets hacked. Okay. Here we go. Hold on for a sec. I gotta allow ads real quick, or they won't let me see the article. Pause on this site. Here we go. That T-app breach exposed 72,000 selfies and ID photos, and you still got hoes on the waiting list for the T-app. They still, it's still from what from last I checked, it's still the number one app in the world, and it's a women's only app, mind you. It's still the number one app in the world. It says the T-app breach exposed 72,000 selfies and ID photos. The images were being stored in a legacy data system containing information from more than 2 years ago, the company says. But once you do the research, you see that it was no protection. So it wasn't a hack. It was put in a data system which anybody could easily access. So basically, if you just had a computer or a phone, you could access those files. You could access the driver license numbers and the selfie verification photos because they put it in a file which the average normie with a smartphone or a laptop could access to it. So it wasn't a hack. That's just that's just something where they're trying to make it seem like oh, these angry incels were uh for revenge hacked the T app. No, it was easily accessible. Anybody had access to it. They say T, a women's safety dating app that has surged to the top of the free iOS App Store listing, suffered a major security breach last week. The company confirmed Friday that it has identified authorized access to one of our systems that exposed thousands of user images. And now there's the potential that more details on people using the app could be accessed. Oh, yeah. And by the way, hoes, because they said, oh, you're not going to be able to screenshot this on this app and blah blah blah, but you still have hoes being still able to screenshot what they want and send it to people. And I do find it ironic how women were very upset about the breach and how their personal information got exposed, even though they went on T-App to quote unquote put men's information on blast. They don't even realize the irony. I don't even think because the stuff that women will complain about, especially the stuff today, they don't even realize the irony behind a lot of the things that they complain about. Okay, let me just go into the next paragraph. According to T's preliminary findings from the end of last week, the breach allowed access to approximately 72,000 images, broken down into two groups: 13,000 images of selfies and photo identification that people had submitted during account verification, and 59,000 images that were publicly viewable in the app from posts, comments, and direct messages. Those images had been in a legacy data system that contained information from more than 2 years ago, the company said in the statement. At this time, there is no evidence to suggest that current or additional user data was affected. Earlier Friday, posts on Reddit and 404 Media reported that T-App users' faces and IDs had been posted on an anonymous online message board, 4chan. So yeah, 4chan again for the for the W again. But anyways, T requires users to verify their identities with selfies or IDs, which is why driver's licenses and pictures of people's faces are in the leaked data. T said it has launched a full investigation to assess the scope and impact of the breach. Well, I don't know what kind of code y'all was using, but maybe there was no code involved, because everybody had access to it. They just didn't realize how easy it was until they just wanted to see, because first of all, whatever app you drop, it's going to get tested, or whatever product or website, it's going to be subject to hackers. No matter how good the product is, no matter how bad the product is, it's going to be tested. The network security of the app is always going to be tested by hackers. So I don't know why people are shocked about that, but it wasn't even a hack. DMs potentially exposed. A security researcher has also discovered that it is possible for hackers to gain access to DMs between T users. According to a report by 404 Media on Monday, this reportedly affects messages sent up to last week by people using the T app. T didn't immediately respond to a request for comment on this latest report. The premise of T is to provide women with a space to report negative interactions they've had while encountering men in the dating pool, purposely to keep other women safe. Oh man. Let me keep reading this paragraph because I just did a speed read real quick, and there's just so much irony in this paragraph. The app hit the #1 spot on Apple's U.S. App Store last week, drawing international attention and sparking a debate about whether the app violates men's privacy. If the reports of a breach turn out to be true, it will also play into the wider ongoing debate around whether online identity and age verification pose an inherent security risk to internet users. You don't say. In the privacy section on its website, T says T dating advice takes reasonable security measures to protect your personal information to prevent loss, misuse, unauthorized access, disclosure, alteration, and destruction. Please be aware, however, that despite our efforts, no security measures are impenetrable. But it's interesting. How about the men's personal information that you're allowed to post on that same app? The disclosure, all of that, misuse. So, like I said, that was just karma right there. Just a quick dose of karma. And I was glad that we were able to see the photos of the women that got their photos leaked. I thought it was great. So let's bring up these photos again. So these are the photos of the ladies. Excuse me. These are the photos of the ladies that were signing up for that app, intending to misuse it. Let's keep it a buck. Here's another close-up of some of these broads right here. Here's the few examples of the hoes that, signing up for the T app for other women's safety, please. Please. Oh man. This is these hoes look shot. Straight shot. Let's search up T app data breach. T app leak. Yep. Oh yeah, more photos. More photos. So right here, the caption says the T app leak is proof that 40 years old, fat, ugly, and angry Karens are their own worst enemy. Believe it or not, like I said, like this chick right here, this is not a chick in her 40s. This is a chick in her late 20s. Her 30s. Okay, this she's in her 40s. Okay, I agree. This she's definitely in her. If she's in her 30s, that is a hard looking 30. But these are the hoes that are using the app. Take a look. More pictures of these hoes. Somebody said there's a whole lot of chins in these pictures. More photos. More photos. And believe it or not, like if I like there's dudes that I know, right? These, the so-called Tyrones of the world, or the so-called Chads. I know the women that they're smashing. They're not, people just think that they're just smashing 9s and 10s. A lot of the times the Chads can't really get the 10s and 9s. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, they can't really get those. But everybody else sweeping up. But these are the women that qualify as everybody else, right? Yo, look at this one right here. This is look at this one right here. Look at the photo of this one. Oh my God. Wild work. Wild work. Oh man. Women creating T-app to expose men end up exposing themselves. Yep. But yeah, people just look at the so-called, or the so-called top men of the dating market, right? And they think that just means you just get 9s and 10s. No, usually the 9s and 10s, somebody's just giving them money just for existing. So for the most part, you're actually going to see 9s and 10s with somebody with a lot of paper for the most part, right? If not drug dealer, then somebody with a lot of paper. The Chads would get with a 9 or a 10, but sometimes they tend to they start giving they'll the 9s and the 10s will kind of, they want to be courted. They want the Chads to still court them. They still want them to treat them well and all this stuff. But meanwhile, you have the 6s, the 5s, and the 4s. They're willing to just give it up just for him existing. So they're just gonna whatever. So that's why you'll even have these pretty girls. They're always like, why are these guys always cheating on somebody that's way uglier than me? Well, they're gonna give it up. They're not going to hold back on them when it comes to the sex department because they're not going to turn down Chad. So that's what ends up happening, where you'll have a Chad. A lot of times they won't even, a lot of the Chads or the Tyrones, they won't even, eventually they're not going to end up with a 9 or a 10 or an 8 or a woman around their dating market, because you have hoes around this range, right? Hoes that look like this, right? For the most part, that are just willing to just give it up. Even the older women, you'll see them like I know, like, you know, so-called Tyrones, right? And they'll brag about, oh, I smashed this older lady and all this stuff, and the hoe will look like this, and they'll be bragging about it. And you'll be like, bro, really? But you know, the Chads and Tyrones, they don't, or the, you know, the Pookies and Ray Rays of the world, they don't, they they don't have no D discipline per se. And what happens when most men get into that position where they can smash more women, men tend to not act with discretion. They tend to not pick wisely. That's why, you know, people that try to say stuff about Shannon Sharp and all these people, I'm like, that could easily happen to you, because when most men start getting into that position of power, when they start getting that paper, they start trying to get the hoes that they want. And if that doesn't work, they try to get an easily accessible hoe that can end up burning them the next day. But because it's already there available for them, because of their clout or because of their money, they're going to take advantage. Simple as. Somebody said, me after using y'all IDs from the T-App League. Low key, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of dope boys, unfortunately, trying to steal their identities, using them to get loans. But yep, these are the hoes right here. These are the hoes calling you losers online, right? Even though I'll say in my case, it's mostly these hoes in college that have a problem with my channel and all this nonsense. Like they be the ones, these college broads, they be the ones stalking my channel, my Instagram, and all this nonsense. That's not me bragging. That's just me just showing. It's just, that's for the most part. Because I already know what these, you know, the mid chicks are going to do what mid chicks do. Because believe it or not, the pretty, you know, skinny feminist that's talking all that greasy, she's hoes like that. They're not on the T app. It's hoes like this doing the most complaining. Because the bitches in college, right? They just don't know nothing about nothing. They're just talking. They don't know what real life is. They're gonna get triggered. Of course, like the college bitches, they're always gonna get triggered when I say there's no grape culture on campus. That's no. Of course, they're gonna get mad at me. Or when I say Bill Cosby is not, they don't That Bill Cosby situation isn't what you think it is. Yep, Garrett Grant said, from what I've seen, there was no lines of code put in for security. There was 0 lines of code put in for security. It was just open. So it wasn't even a hack. It wasn't even a hack. It was there. Zero protection. Zero. There was literally 0 protection. 0. So it wasn't even a hack. Now, obviously, I use the word hacked for algorithm purposes here. But even then, you still saw what I put in the parentheses. I said it really wasn't a hack. It's just all cap. Just all cap right here. But I hope people really took a good look at the broads that are sharing the small percentage of men. People really take a look, because I've always fought against that notion of, oh, you just got to get a 6 that's down with you, or a 5 out of 10. And never believe that. I just always say, go to the women that you are attracted to, and hope. And I'm like, if you, I said this, if you're going to approach a woman, that's what I said, because I'm obviously I'm against approaching, but I'm like, if you're gonna approach a broad, approach the prettiest broad that you can get, or approach the broad that you actually want to be with. This whole thing about practicing on these bitches. Look at this bitch right here. Right here. Believe it or not, this bitch is getting approached. Believe it or not, this chick right here is getting approached more than this one. All these dudes that you see, they be bragging, like that's another thing too. All these dudes that you see that they bragging about bagging all these chicks. Most of these chicks is looking like this. Let's keep it a buck. They're not bagging chicks on the regular that look like this. They're not. Unless if they're a jock in college or something like that, they're not bagging chicks that look like this. They're bagging chicks that look like this, and this, and this, and this. They're just not telling you. They're just saying, oh man, I be getting all these. You can get a lot of these hoes. Yeah, of course you can get this. These are the chicks they bet. Now, for the most part, they're not going to risk it and approach a girl that looks like this, because they feel like if they approach a chick that looks like this, they're gonna get turned down. I've seen something. This is how usually it happens. Somebody did a live stream. I saw somebody do a live stream on their channel. I'm not gonna say their name. They did a live stream, and it was them doing what they called in the infield. They were doing field work when it comes to approaching, and he started off approaching the pretty chicks, the attractive chicks. He kept getting turned down, and you just saw slowly but surely the confidence just completely keeps leaving him. So he just kept approaching uglier and uglier and uglier chicks. Then he started just approaching fat chicks. And when he started getting turned down from the fat chicks, then he started crashing out and started talking crazy. The PUAs and the cold approach dudes, they're the problem. They're the problem. And the dudes that brag about their body count and all this is what most of their body count is, that including the chads. This is what their body count mostly composes of. Chicks that look like this. Yes. Chicks, how about this? Chicks that look like this. Yes. Mid chicks, dog. Mid. Chicks that look like this. Chicks that look like this. She got a whole bunch of makeup here, but trust me, we already know without the makeup, this chick right here looks like this. Without the makeup, she looks like this. Wait, where's she at? Where's she at? Where's she at? I'm telling you, without the makeup, she looked like this. Without the trust me, without the makeup, this chick right here is similar to this. Without the makeup, trust me. Oh, and by the way, I'll say this. I'm gonna do a little soft brag on myself real quick. Do a soft brag. Could I find a chick? Dude, there was a time, a couple years back, I was gonna bag a chick that looked like this, but she was, man, when she revealed that she was still low key in a relationship and she had a kid and her ex was in the military, I was like, oh no, thank you. No, thank you. Because she was literally, I don't have a type per se, but I do like chicks that look like this. I'll say this because one of the things I do like about Chronic, he said like if I get a Spanish chick or if I get a chick from a different race, I want her to look like really indigenous. I don't want her looking European, right? I'm not gonna lie. I'm that way. If I want a white girl, I want that white girl to be a white girl. I don't want her to be a mud shark, right? If I want a black girl, I want her with her natural hair, right? I don't want her wearing weave. If I want a Spanish chick, I want a chick that really look like that's really like she's from the Incas, like she's from the Mayans time. I really want her to resemble that more than her European features, right? That's what I want. I want a woman that's true to herself, that's really true to her look, true to her background. That's what I'm looking for. So I'll say this, a chick like this, that's kind of my type. I'm not gonna lie. But when I found out she had a kid, and I was like, and then the nailer for me was when I found out that she was still technically still married, and then then the dude is military. I was like, oh, I ain't trying to get myself killed. I blocked her. I'm not gonna say immediately, but I was like, I gotta block this chick, even though she pretty. And she worked in the industry. So that low key was my ticket in, but I'm like, man. She low key was my ticket in, but I was like, nah, that's just not worth the risk. That's not worth the risk. I can't even tell you the people that she did makeup for, but it was just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. There's no way. I'm gonna get myself deleted. But yeah, these are like when it comes to dudes with the high body counts, these are the chicks having the high body counts with. Right. Oh man. But yeah, like see if I can give more examples. Because people will they'll see a chick like this, right? They'll see a chick that looks like this, even though she's a mud shark, right? But they'll see a chick that looks like this, and they think that's really how she looks. But that's mad makeup. She probably has some extensions in there that's a fake hair color. She's insinuating all of her best features. But the reality is this woman right here, really, like that woman that I'm showing you right here is really more comparable. I just saw her. Why can I not find her? It's more comparable to this. It's more comparable to this right here. And I know you guys might not want to believe that, but these are facts. These are facts. Oh yeah, I'll say this picture right here, this is a made up photo, obviously. So, oh, sorry, my bad. And or this right here. But when they get made up, they look completely different. So like this one might be the best looking chick in terms of whether it comes, because when you do an ID verification pick, most of the times you're rushing it. They're just trying to identify. They're just trying to get a quick picture in so they can get it into the app. So we got this chick here from the, with the Inca features. She might be the best looking chick out of all of them, but I'm pretty sure when these chicks put on makeup, they look a little bit different. And when I say a little bit different, I mean really a lot different. A lot different. These chicks, like, if we do a before and after with a lot of these chicks with makeup, bro, I'm telling you, if you were to see the real before and after, people would stop simping. Like, I'll give you also the example. Like, I remember when I was in high school, I would see these chicks because when you're in high school, you'll see the chicks. They don't always go every day to school with makeup on, so you see how they really look for a lot of it. But I remember because that was during the time when Instagram started blowing up for real. So I remember it was like 2015 or 2016. And somebody was bragging on this one chick. Oh man, this chick is bad, yo. I'm like, who? And I was like, I know this chick. What are you talking about? I know her and her. I was like, I know her and her girlfriend. What are you talking about? But I didn't really look at her Instagram. So I took a look at her profile and I was like, oh, I get it. But people didn't even realize like that same chick that they was simping over off of IG. I'm like, she's fat, right? No disrespect. And I'm not saying she doesn't look decent, but I'm like, most of that's makeup. And yes, she's a redhead, but that's makeup. Now her butch girlfriend, right? Her dyke girlfriend. Yeah, she looked tripped out, but she don't got no makeup on. That's what you see on what you see on social media is what you get. That's what she looks like, right? But I remember people was going crazy over this one chick at my high school at the time. And I was I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, I've talked to her. I don't really talk to her girlfriend, but I've talked to her plenty of times. But because I'm just so used to seeing her without her costume, right? Like Corey Holcomb would say, their costume. And yes, white girls be having their costumes on just like black women, right? I'm so used to seeing her with her costume that like people are just so used to what they see off of her off Instagram, even though I'm so used to seeing her in real life. That's how I knew people were getting very misled by people talking about IG models or IG baddies. And mind you, she wasn't an IG model. They just liked her face. They just thought everybody just thought she had a pretty face, but they didn't know. Like, I'm like, she's fat, right? She's not like she wasn't morbidly obese, but she's over her BMI limit. Like if you saw her, like, yeah, she's chubby. She's definitely chubby. and really not built right, to be quite honest with you. But when she does that makeup and then she puts her, there are, dude, man. I don't want to say anything because people might think it's creepy, but I remember this one chick that I went to high school with, and people underrated her because they kind of just looked at her like, they looked at her being golf, her being like her being like 6 feet, like 5. She was like 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". But I'm like, she's actually quite pretty. It's just she's trying to hide it with the golf stuff and the just her demeanor and just the way she does things. She didn't even want to play ball no more. She used to play basketball. She doesn't want to play ball no more. I'm like, she's actually quite pretty. Like, she could easily become a model. But I didn't want to say that because during that time, because people would have considered me a creep during that time, maybe. But I felt like she had, I'm like, she could end up being a whole model. But people look at, I don't know, people look at the wrong things when it comes to, features or beauty markers. Because I already, like, for me, if I was doing like recruiting or whatever, people would be shocked at the people that I would pick, because it's not necessarily just about if you put makeup on and your face is great, but your height matters. Even for women, even for female models, your height matters, right? Yeah, because if that was the case, you would see a lot more, Hispanic women as walkway or runway models, but they be or Filipino women, but they be like 5 feet tall max, 5'1", 5'2" max, right? A lot of the Mexican girls I knew 4'11", 4'10" max. Like, literally max. So yes, they look good on IG, but they're literally shrimps. They're shrimps with a big old ass, right? But for some reason that qualifies as, oh, that's a baddie. I'm like, nah, man, that's no. No, that's not a baddie. But anyways, let me see here. If I could find, but like some of the women that you see on here that you're seeing off rip, these are mid. They're mid. Even with the makeup, you can see that they're mid. But I'm keep telling you, the mid chicks, the fat chicks, those are the ones that are getting the astronomically high body counts. People think it's the women that are super pretty. Yes, they're getting high body counts, but they're not getting 3 digits or 4 digits. No, they have high body counts too, but it's not that high. They're not getting astronomical high body count numbers. But the astronomically high body count number people are basically women like this, right? This, right? What's another example? This, this, this definitely. This, right? This, believe it or not, this, right? This, people are okay. So people will look at this Indian chick and they would never think. They would never think. They would never think. They would never think. But even with that, we always say like the top OF models are not necessarily the super pretty ones, it's the ones that look like this. The ones that look like the girl next door. Those are the ones, even though I don't know if this is an OF model or not, but it's the girls that look like that because they look like the girl next door. Those are the top, like the highest earning OF models are the ones that look like that. A lot of them. Not most, but a lot of them. Okay. But anyways, since we have a little bit of time left, I wanted to share something funny. So there's this one chick off IG who's a female comedian, which is a oxymoron. But if I'm talking about they're popular on social media, like, so she's popular on social media, right? But their actual stand-up comedy is so god awful. It's not, I'm talking about they're so bad at comedy where it's embarrassing. I'm talking about the hecklers in their crowd are 20,000 times funnier than them. So this chick right here, so she's very famous mostly for, her male bashing on Instagram, social media. Her trying to, I guess they would call it femcel comedy or whatever. But they're comedians in real life. Like, she's an actual comedian. But when you look at their stand-up, it's really god awful. So I'm gonna show you an example of this real quick. We gotta really do like a live stream one day, just covering just female comedians and just how bad they are at their job. But let's listen to this one. Let's listen to this. So this is a video she posted of her quote unquote roasting a heckler. But if you actually watch the video, it's the opposite. It's the heckler actually roasting her, and she has no comeback. But anyways.
What is the worst problem that you have in Hermosa Beach? The high prices?
That comedian stuff.
Because the guy doesn't sell? He's like, I wasn't good at anything else, so I just decided to start selling stuff. What do you sell?
Crack cocaine.
I mean, you'd be richer if you did that. What is the worst problem that you have in Hermosa Beach?
So she asked the guy in sales, what's the worst problem that you have in Hermosa Beach? And he replies back, bad comedians. And he got a higher laugh from the crowd than her replying back with her retorts. But she's so delusional. She thought she won that exchange.
The high prices?
That comedian stuff.
Because the guy doesn't sell?
I don't know, with female comedians, they the only ones where the male hecklers or whoever's heckling them, usually when a person is heckling you, is usually a layup for the comedians. So much so that even the bad male comedians, you'll have male comedians, they're bad. So what they do, they only post themselves roasting hecklers because it's the easiest. It's easy work. It's literally a layup. It's literally a layup for professional comedians or people that say that they're comedians. But female it just seems like a lot of the female comedians, it's not that they can't handle the heckling, but the hecklers be funnier than them. I don't even know how that's possible, because you're the one, when you're the female comic, you're the one with the mic. You're the one with the microphone in your hand. It's a lose for the heckler because he doesn't have a mic. But I be seeing these clips and I'm like, how is the heckler getting more laughs than you? And you got the mic. But like I said, a lot of these chicks, let me give you another example. Remember this chick? I covered her. I've covered her a couple of times on his channel. Where's she at? Where's she at? I just showed it to you. This chick right here. Remember Missy Shea Tart? Remember when she used to be a comedian? Like she would put comedian in her thing, but now she took that off because clearly whatever she was doing in comedy, it was not working out. These, like, when people talk about like, female journalists and them really being activists, down low activists, I call them. But you have these so-called female comedians, but I'm talking about they're not funny at all, but they still, they somehow get opportunities, they still get stage play. And usually they're getting stage play because they're screwing somebody. They're usually screwing somebody. Uh, they're they're usually screwing somebody that's part of the setup. But they go on stage and they just be awful, right? But I remember covering her again, and I noticed she took off comedian in her bio, and I'm like, oh, that comedy thing didn't work out for you, did you know? And it's not me, OD, dunking on her. I'm just saying, ma'am, you're not a comic. You're an activist. you're a wannabe activist, trying to finesse your way in the game as a comic, but really you just want to spread your mental illness and your activism. But I even remember, like, I don't know if she shows it, but she would show even clips of her at these, the comedy stores, at these open mics, and I'm talking about she wasn't even getting no sympathy laughs. Because you already know, because like most female comics, they'll get most female comics, what they get sympathy laughs. That's what they get. Most female comics, they get sympathy laughs. If you're a male comic and you're not funny, they'll just look at you. They will just look at you and just hope for you to leave the stage. That's what male comics go through. But the female comics, they get sympathy laughs, like it's it's a kid is a little kid at a talent show full of adults. He just shows up and he does a little dance on the on the stage, and then you give him a little, oh, he or she is so cute. That's literally what that's what the female comics be doing when they go on stage. Oh man. But anyways, this chick here, yeah, whatever her name is, Karina, whatever. I'm like, can you just stick with the the man hating on TikTok? I mean, that's since that's what you really do best. I'm looking at the comment. So the male guy, he goes, "You're unfunny," and her reply was like, "Yeah, well, you have a respectable and stable career." I was just like, well, you say I'm unfunny. Well, you're in sales. Okay. Oh man. But I will say this: that male heckler, he's cold-blooded for that reply. He said, "What's the worst?" She asked, "What is the worst part about Hermosa Beach?" He said, "Bad comedians." Right in her face. That's cold-blooded. That's cold-blooded, bro. That's cold. That's cold-blooded. And I will say this: a certain type of laughter says it all. Because the kind of laugh that he got from that is like they didn't even want to laugh at that, but they were still laughing. I want to replay that part.
The worst problem that you have in Hermosa Beach? The high prices?
Bad comedians.
Because the guy doesn't sell?
Man, that laugh that that he was getting from the crowd, they didn't even want to laugh. They were like, "Damn." It was like, "Damn." But like I said, she posted her own L, but she didn't even realize it was an L. That's how disillusioned, like, especially I'll say, yeah, most female comics, they really think that they really think they're funny because of the sympathy laughs that they get. Somebody said, damn, that's when you know your routine is cooked. But yeah, I gotta do like a separate stream just off of just unfunny female comics. And even then, like, people they get mad. Like people will recommend female comics for me to watch. And I'll be like, I don't really think they're funny either. And it's not me just trying to diss. It's just because, first of all, most comics in general are not funny to me. Most comics are not funny to me. And it's no disrespect. It's like, you don't listen to most musicians, you don't listen to most artists, right? It's just, it is what it is. But like, people be recommending me some certain female comics. I'm like, the only female comic that I got like a chuckle out of was some more. And it wasn't like groundbreaking. It's just, when it comes to being funny, most women aren't that funny. Now, I do know funny women, but funny women for the most part aren't in comedy, if that makes sense. So most of the funny women that you will meet in your life, they're not trying to do comedy. And I'll say this, the actual good female comics, they usually get all of they literally get their whole routine stolen from them. What's the bitch name? Aubrey Plaza. Am I getting her name right? Aubrey Plaza. I don't know if she's a female comic per se, but she stole her old act. You think that's really her act? That she stole that personality, that quirky little whatever, that character that she usually plays. That's not. She stole that act. She stole that act from somebody. I guarantee you. That's not her. Because I knew the women that actually acted like that back in the 2000s, they got severely bullied. Severely bullied. But anyways, that's a whole other story that we don't even gotta, because the chicks that really did act like that, nervous, awkward, they usually unfortunately, they got taken advantage of, where they got bullied, they got made fun of, they got called pigs. I still remember this stuff, man. I be seeing a lot of hoes with that fake, nervous, you know, comedy style. That's a whole act that they done stole from bullied women from back in the day. Because there used to be women that would act like that back then. Still a couple of women that act like that. But that's just how they are. It's not an act. And women have taken that and brought that to the stage. But yeah, I'm sorry, there's just no funny female. There's no funny female comics. But that's not. I don't use that as that's a strike against women. No, it's just men and women have their strengths, and being funny isn't. Like I said, all the funny women I know, they're not trying to be comics, right? Like I think my aunts are hilarious, like legit hilarious, right? So, or some of the stuff I've heard, women like they'll say certain things, and I'll be like, oh, man, that's pretty funny. Remember the Indian woman that I showed you that was on that podcast with these two dudes, and she was talking about how her sister got it made because she don't gotta deal with she said that her sister found the perfect husband, and he said that and a dead mother-in-law. Right. That was the punchline, because her sister's husband, her sister's husband's mother is dead, so she don't got to deal with the mother-in-law, right? So that was the punchline. I thought that was pretty clever, right? But a woman like she's not a comedian, right? And I'm pretty sure if she were to do an open mic, she would struggle, but she would get her whole act stolen from her. You'll have, because it was an Indian chick with her. She had her whole traditional clothes on, her head covering on her. It's gonna be a half Indian, half white bitch is gonna see her at an open mic, and she's gonna steal her whole flow, even steal her whole outfit, and try to run with that. That's what's gonna happen to her, right? That's just how cold the entertainment game is. Anywho, anything else for me to share with the public? I think I should be good. I think I've showed the public everything you guys needed to see. Oh, let me share that. Yeah, this is what I was seeing. 260 pounds. 5'6", 182. 5'3", 190. Right? This was the nonsense that I was seeing with these leaks. This is the nonsense that I was seeing. Saying the Mets and the Padres are still playing? Jesus. Anyways. Oh, by the way, I've really been trying to get into baseball again. I've really been trying to make an effort. I've been watching the Tampa Bay Rays a lot. Not necessarily the Mets, but I've been watching the Tampa Bay Rays a lot. I got my new favorite baseball player. My new favorite baseball player right now is this kid, Chandler Simpson. you got to see this dude play. It's hilarious. He doesn't even hit any home runs. He just hits as hard as he can. He can still he has like his percentage is still over 300, but most of his balls don't even leave the infield. But he's just so fast. He's so fast. Like he's so fast. Like he'll hit a simple grounder and he'll still make it to first base safe. And then he steals bases like it's nothing. You got to see it. You got to. And he's not only is he so fat, like because the word is out as how fast he is. So what happens is he'll hit the ball, and because people saw what happened in the game he played against the Yankees, where it'll be a routine grounder, or just I'm talking about the shortstop or the second baseman. He'll catch the ball, he'll get it perfectly right, throw it to first base, and he's still safe by a mile. I'm talking about perfect throw, perfect play, and everything, and he's safe by a mile. You got to see this kid, Chandler Simpson. It's hilarious. Like I watch him play and I smile. No homo. But I like what I saw from the MLB in general. The catcher from the Mariners, Big Thumper, they call him. He has 40 home runs. He already has 40 home runs. Switch hitter too. Switch hitter. Crushing it. Like, I'm surprised he don't get walked more, because he's just straight every ball that he sees, he's just crushing it. Lefty or righty, he's crushing it. But yeah, you gotta see this kid off of the Tampa Bay Rays. This dude, the problem with the Tampa Bay Rays is though their defense is god awful. Their pitching is god awful. Like their pitching roster is so bad, it's laughable. But Chandler Simpson, he's a weapon, man. He's a straight weapon. I love how he plays. He just gets hits. He just gets hits, steals bases, damn near a guaranteed run every time he comes on. It's just like he'll hit a base hit. The hit will barely leave the infield, and because they're so the defenders are so self-conscious of his speed, they fuck up when they try to field his when they try to field his the balls that he hit, they mess up. They mess up. Is because they're like, damn, I gotta get this perfect or he's gonna be safe. So they unintentionally F up every time they try to field his hits. It's the funniest thing. It'll be a simple ground ball, and they'll mess up the ground ball because they're so self-conscious that if they mess up a little bit, he's gonna be safe. So you got to field the ball perfectly, and the throw has to be 100% accurate and has to be 100 miles per hour. But yeah, I like these guys. Also I like Ellie De La Cruz off the Cincinnati Reds. This guy's awesome. Switch hitter himself. He can literally do everything. Great fielder, great hitter, fast, power hitter. He has it all. I love watching him play. Him, the his name, I'm blanking on his name, but he's on the Pirates or the Padres, if I'm not mistaken. I've been seeing some highlights of him, but he was also in the home run derby. What's his name? Is his name O'Neill or something? He plays in the outfield. Yeah, O'Neill Cruz. That's his name. O'Neill Cruz. I know people complain about him a lot, but it's funny. Like when he actually runs, when he actually tries to run, that joint is funny because it's literally 3 steps and he's already at the base. It doesn't even look like he's trying when he's running, but his strides are so long, no homo, that by the time, like I remember seeing him round the base and going home, and he literally took 3 steps and he was already at home base. That's his name, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, O'Neill Cruz. He was also in the home run derby. Oh, Jazz was very disappointing in the home run derby when I Jazz was just there for vibes only, man. Jazz is only there for vibes. But yeah, those are my favorite players in baseball right now is Chandler Simpson, Ellie De La Cruz. And like I said, he has a 302 batting average, but the thing is, he can get a hit and the ball doesn't even have to leave the ball doesn't even have to go into the outfield. It does, like I've seen him be safe. The ball doesn't even leave the infield. I'm telling you, you gotta see it. It's funny, man. It's funny. And he's very patient. He gets walked a lot. Guys like that are dangerous, right? Also, oh man. But anyways, those are my favorite players in baseball right now. Him, Chandler Simpson, Ellie De La Cruz off the Cincinnati Reds, and O'Neill Cruz. I hope I'm saying his name right. O'Neill Cruz. I also like Marte off the Mets. I like him off the Mets. And They had this one kid that had a perfect game the other day hitting, this rookie off the Athletics. This dude went 6 for 6 and he had 3 home runs. He had 3 or 4 home runs. I don't remember. He had I know he had at least 3 home runs. He went 6 for 6. He had like the perfect hitting game. Is this rookie off the Athletics? But yeah, I've been really trying to catch up when it comes to baseball. Baseball is a sport that I will always have respect for because technically baseball is the hardest sport. If you really think about it, it's the hardest thing to do is to hit a baseball, especially with these pitchers. They all of them are throwing 95 plus. No cap. Damn near all of them throwing 90 plus minimum, 90, 95 plus. So man, hitting the ball. You guys got to try. I think one thing that will humble you in life. Try. I think people need to just try to hit a baseball. I'm not talking about one of them wiffle ball tournaments. Or I'm talking about like you go out there, go to a pitching machine, and put it at umpteenth miles per hour, and see if you can hit that ball with that heavy ass bat. And that will humble you. I'm telling you, that will humble you. I'm talking about like that's like baseball is so hard where I mean, what sport outside of maybe soccer where you can be 30, I'm talking about where they consider you elite if you're hitting at a 30% rate at whatever the stat that is. You're at a 30% rate and you're considered elite. That's how you know it's hard to hit a baseball. But I like watching Chandler Simpson specifically when he hits those balls that barely hit the infield, and you see the infielders trying not to screw up and they end up doing it. It's the funniest thing. But anyways, that's all I have for today when it comes to the T-App data breach. Not sure when I will go live, but I will definitely try to post more live things. Definitely post more edited videos from this footage. I definitely got to start doing more just straight videos, just videos in general. I've been slacking on that, but I definitely got to improve on that. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for staying tuned. Garrett Grant, I will see you in one of Undead Chronic streams or in AJ's chat. I will definitely see you then. Everybody else, thank you. Take care. I am going to end this off with the new Corey Holcomb clip that I added. Peace out.
You trust me. I don't give a fuck what you do for a bitch. It ain't enough. Trust me, my nigga. Every once in a while, you meet an exceptional bitch. Right. Remember, like in the movies, Django, the exceptional nigga.
Right.
Every once in a while, you might meet an exceptional woman who actually is happy that you are her friend and that you give her love, affection, and anything else. Right. That's rare. I had a bitch, I did everything for this bitch one day. Then when it was time to go, the bitch was like, "You coming over?" I'm like, "I got shit to do tonight."